So guys, before we get started, don't forget we do have that amazing discount code thanks to Tier 0 Games going on right now. And all you have to do is put in ZWGames5 to get 5% discount on your total order at tier0games.com. The links will be in the description below. What's it, YouTube? Dow Heavens of War Games, bringing you my third place local train deck profile. Now, trains are incredibly fun and very, very consistent at OTKing. I took this to my locals this weekend. We played 4 rounds, and my 4 rounds were Madolche, Necros, ABC Nightmare, which was actually scary when he opened up really, really well, and then Zombies. Now, obviously, I lost to the Zombies. Just Zombie World just shuts this deck down because all of its requirements kind of says, like, if you control Earth Machine, there's an Earth Machine in your graveyard, so that kind of shuts you down. Necros, Madolche were quick kind of OTKs, a nice little stall out, and then push throughs, and then the ABC took a bit more of a grind game. So this deck kind of got the run of the field, got run of everything. Obviously not as hugely meta relevant that it's had its running, but even then at meta relevance, there's enough in this deck to slowly shut down stuff like Salamangreats and Sky Strikers, stuff like that. So without further ado, I'm going to take you through the deck profile, explain what we've got and why we've got it, and then go from there. So we have Triple Flying Pegasus Railroad Stampede. This card is insane. Triple Heavy Freight Train Derricane. Triple Super Express Bullet Train. These are your special summons, so you need to get a normal summon off, and the only 2 normal summons you have, well, 3 technically, is you've got Triple Night Express Knight, and then you've got the Ruffle Rail card plus your Pegasus. So you need one of these 3 to go off to get both of these 2, or one of those 2, and that gives you an instant rank 10, which is why I play stuff like Twin Twisters to help set up Pegasus, and kind of push plays further forward and stuff like that. For the other monsters that aren't trains, we've got Triple Dino Wrestler Pranktops, just because this is a going second build, so we want to be able to break boards as best we possibly can, and Pranktops is a great one to do so, getting rid of any kind of floodgates or issues that you might have, and then being able to push through the game. We do play the Shadol engine, well I say engine, pretty much 3 Shadol Fusion going into Shekanaga. We do play Winder in the deck as well, so Dragon and Beast are your 2 best options on that. Beast for the draw, Dragon for the pop, so that can be very, very useful, especially up against zombies. The issue with the zombie player is he never went into the extra deck, so my Shadol Fusion was a lot slower. It wasn't completely dead, but obviously I needed to open up, have an Earth and a Beast in Earth and a Shadol in hand. Then we've got 3 Kaijus. Now I am actually tempted to put in the new Kaiju in this deck, but that would be more for the long game. So the way this is kind of works is you want to interact with Kaiju Slumber, give yourself a Jizakuri because it is a level 10, and then give your opponent a Gamma Seal, and then that way of course you can start ranking on top, and it helps extend your plays quite a lot. On top of that, of course, if you interact with Kaiju Slumber, you set yourself a Kaiju for the next turn. It will shut down Salamangreats if you get rid of their Link monster. It will shut down Sky Strikers by putting one of these in the main monster zone. It just gives you a lot of options to play around with. On top of that, like I said, if you play the new Kaiju in this deck, it's kind of alternative because I would probably have to say you'd either have to lose the Shadol engine or the Dino Wrestler engine. You'd play the new card, and then that just allows you to clear your opponent's Kaiju and bring back any monster from the graveyard. So straight away that gives you a rank 10 without having to special summon. If you then combo that off with like many cards like Urgent Schedule in the deck, and then maybe a normal summon of a Pegasus, you can end up with a Link 2 Genius plus 2 rank 10s, which is crazy good, but it does take a lot of resources. And like I said, if you're coming up against the meta, you kind of want to leave Sky Strikers or Kaiju on board because they're not doing anything, and then you push through your plays and go through it that way. So that's it for the monster lineup. The one issue I did have this weekend is, like, the deck is built to go second. It's kind of built to clear off any dangerous threats and then push through for the OTK. So I did find myself running out of Kaijus in the sense that I would interact with Kaiju Slumber, clear the board, give a Kaiju, have my rank 10, not be able to finish off the game, which is probably on my behalf, and then search the Kaiju out the next turn, which was fine, just to kind of clear a board, but it was a lot harder in the grind game. For the spells, Triple Shaddoll Fusion, obviously you go in second, you get Shekinaga, that's an additional rank 10. Not to mention you've also got a negate on board if you opened up one of the Shaddoll monsters. Triple Revolving Switchyard and double Terraforming, quite straightforward and self-explanatory on that one. Double Urgent Schedule, now this is only because I only had 2 Urgent Schedule. Very, very good card, and the only time that this came up being regretful not having this at 3 was probably in the zombie matchup, purely because I had the monsters in hand that could be normal summoned, which would have caused my opponent a bit more issues, but by normal summon I mean like the rank 10s that would require tributes, and that's where I'd have to use the Urgent Schedule. So yeah, that kind of made it a little bit more difficult to play around. I have picked up my 3rd one, so that would be going straight into the deck anyway. Double Pot Desires. Now, I'm not a huge fan of Desires in a deck when I need all my combo pieces, but the fact is you can search out some of your stuff as well. And once you've interrupted Kaiju Slumbered, got your Kaijus and made sure that that is live, a Desires may not be the end of the world, and that could then help push you through and win you the game. Draw Call by the Grave, you want your Interactive Kaiju Slumber to go off, you want your Shaddoll Fusions to go off, and you want to be able to get your trains off as well, so Call by the Grave is very, very important. Triple Interactive Kaiju Slumber and double Twin Twister. Now, obviously the Kaiju Slumber, once you've done it once, it then becomes dead, but the whole idea of this deck is that you don't need to resolve it twice, you shouldn't need to resolve it twice. You should be able to go in for the kill after that. And then if it does become a dead card, you just ditch it off of Revolving Switchyard as well. Twin Twisters is, you know, dealing with a lot of back rows. I know there's not a huge amount of strikes and warnings going around right now, but even getting rid of your opponent's Twin Twisters, baiting out your opponent's Salamangreat traps and stuff like that, it can be very, very useful, especially if you open up Pegasus, because then you put your rank 10 into the graveyard, and then you can revive that rank 10 off of Pegasus as well. Now on to the extra deck. We'll start with the rank 10s, because the rank 10s are probably like the heart and soul of this deck, which is what's so good about it. So we play double Super Dreadnought, Rail Cannon, Juggernaut Ibli. Very rare that you would go into 2, so don't worry if you've only got 1, but ideally you do want 2 just in case the game gets dragged out a little bit longer. 2, number 81, Super Dreadnought, Rail Cannon, Super Dora. Again, rare that you would ever go into 2. I don't think I actually made this at all this weekend, but it is a nice first turn defensive play. Should your opponent be playing a go second deck, this can kind of cause them a little bit of issue. Then we've got a Super Dreadnought, Rail Cannon, Gustav Match, part of the OTK. Very, very kind of powerful. The issue with the OTK is these are both susceptible to stuff like Ghost Ogres, so you've got to be very, very careful when using them. But it can cause your opponent a few issues if they can't stop it. And so many times you just go Gustav Max, waiting for a response, nothing happens, and then you go, okay, go into Lebel, and then Lebel swings in for game. Super Dimensional Robot Galaxy Destroyer, very rare that you go into him, but he has a nice 5k beater. The spiders, I love the spiders. 35 Ravenous Tarantula. Pops monsters with attack less than or equal to this card, so that's very, very good. Burns your opponent 600 every time they special summon a monster. You rank on top into Pain Gainer. Pain Gainer destroys all monsters with defense less than it, and it can go up to like 4k if you've got 2 rank 10s, or it's a base 2k because it counts itself. And then burns your opponent 600 for every spell and trap they play. And then number 77, the 7 Sins. Very rarely did I go into this. I don't think I went into this at all. I think I went into those most of the time. And then Lebel and Dreadnought. Then, of course, for the Shaddoll Fusions targets, we've got the one at Shekinaga. Can make it 2 if you want, but again, it shouldn't really get to that point of needing to. And Winder as an alternative turn 1 play as well that can really stun and slow your opponent down. Then for the links, we got the Genius, we got the Mermaid, we got the Phoenix, and we got the Unicorn. Now, it's very rare that you ever push past like a Link 2 in this deck, because Genius is your go-to kind of Link 2. Mermaid is just there as a option to kind of reduce your opponent's attack if you need it to. Again, rare that you do it. Phoenix is just to get out of any floodgates. So is Unicorn. Like, worst case scenario, you go into either of these 2, and then if you wanted to, you can turn it into Mermaid. So it is just an option. You don't have to do it, of course, but it just gives you another alternative to kind of play around with and see how it goes. But it's very rare that you'll go into these 3 at all. Literally at the weekend, the only one I went into was Gustav Max, Libelle, Genius, and I think I went into the Tarantula once. I didn't even see my Shadowell Fusion to go into that, but I'm not saying that you would take them out, because it is still very, very important in the deck. Anyway, that is it for the deck profile. I hope this helps. Hope this gives you a couple of ideas on your own build as well. It is a very, very fun deck to kind of play because it can be crazy consistent. And there's a lot of bait out. Like, you can really do a lot to kind of drag your opponent's cards out of their hands. And then the side cards, the side deck is where it comes into if you want to go, if you have to go first, or when you're starting to go first, you can play stuff like Gozen because you're all Earth. You can play stuff like Rivalry because you're all Machines. You can also play stuff like, you know, Impermanence, Thanos Dragon, Ashes, Ogres, Drolls. I mean, there's stuff you could put in the main deck to slow your opponent down, but really what you want to be doing when you're, you know, your first turn is you want to be able to break your opponent's board with the Kaijus and Prankatops, and then you want to kill them with the OTK. Alternatively, if you want to, you take out the Prankatops and the Kaijus and you go, right, well, the whole plan is to stop my opponent playing with my Ashes, Drolls, Ogres, and then go in for the OTK. So there's two ways you can kind of approach it, so whichever one suits you best. Anyway, I hope this helps. I hope this gives you a couple of ideas. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share. And until next time, guys, as always, happy dueling. What's up, YouTube? Dad here from Zephyr Games. Thanks for watching that video. If you liked it, please hit that big thumbs up button in the bottom corner as well. And don't forget to hit the big red subscribe button so you don't miss out on anything. Make sure you click that notification bell as well so you know every time one of our new videos goes up. Throughout the whole year of 2019, we're going to have more deck profiles, duels, and of course pack openings for you guys to watch and enjoy the entire year round. So stay tuned for more, and as always, guys, happy dueling.